How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Board and Browsing Podcast. I'm your host, Danny, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Samson and Sean.
Howdy.
Yeah, you guys are good to go now. Samson?
Nope, I refuse.
You refuse.
I've taken a vow of silence.
Are you joining with the monks?
I've taken a vow of silence until the Snyder Cut gets a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
So we're never going to hear from you again.
Nope, that's it.
It's a good thing
I'm
we
breaking it
you
anyways because I'm impatient. What?
It's a good thing we replaced you with Tim Lucy then.
Oh no.
True.
But anyways, guys, welcome back to Board and Browsing. Today is going to be a very unique episode. First off, shout out to everybody on Twitch. So if you're watching us live right now, go follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Slothenberger. We are currently recording the podcast live. It's super cool. We've never done a true live show before, so if this goes well and people are interested, we will continue doing it in this manner. But what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be talking about the movie I think a lot of us have been anticipating for a very long time, especially as avid listeners of the podcast. You know, we've talked about it over and over and over, that it's coming out, it's going to be here, it's all this cool stuff. We are talking about the Snyder Cut, Justice League, Zack Snyder's cut of the movie, and kind of give our full thoughts on what we thought of it, how we kind of watched it, and in the moment things we were thinking and things we were considering, and whether or not we would recommend you check it out. So the way this episode is going to be structured is we're going to talk about the good, we're going to talk about the bad, and then we're going to give our verdict as to whether or not you should check it out.
Fuck.
What were you saying, Sean?
I was saying, and then the ugly, but I was wrong.
Good point.
Damn it.
I just wanted to ask, where in that structure are we going to deliver on the promise that we made on our completely unliked Twitter post about how you will give me one tickle for every single viewer we have on Twitch?
Am I okay? So let me explain my policy on tickles. We don't interact with each other. We like in person anymore. We don't live near each other anymore.
Well, two of us do. But...
Yeah, two of you do. So, but the one person Samson wants tickles from is nowhere close to him.
Yeah, it tears me apart to know that, like, if we did it safely, I could deliver you tickles, but you have never once asked. You haven't.
It's always
and
mine.
maybe it's like one of those you want so desperately that which you can't have sort of deals, but it honestly hurts my feelings sometimes, Samson. I'm going to be real with you right here, right now, in front of dozens of people on the internet.
The shy smugness on his face is really what sells it for me.
Yeah,
Have you given your grandmother a hug since all this has started, Danny?
Technically, yes, because I saw her in September.
Okay, but you haven't given me a single tickle.
Because I'm
just saying, like,
you
if
since
COVID
March.
is not strong enough to divide you from giving your grandmother a hug, then like maybe you're just making excuses. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, these two things are clearly on the same level. So,
yeah. But anyways, why don't we'll talk about this as it goes on. How many tickles I wind up giving you?
Can I take 1 minute real quick? I don't think my girlfriend's watching this because she just texted me I love sushi. I don't think she even cares about our coverage.
Well, I mean, Marie is just playing Minecraft right now, so
yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That is true. But anyways, let's move on to the Snyder Cut. And I think in honor of the Snyder Cut coming out, we should make our podcast 4.5 hours today.
Oh,
just to, like, you know, keep in the mood.
Yes.
Keep in the mood for it. But let's just dive straight into it. Who would like to start talking about the good in the Snyder Cut, the things they really enjoyed, and maybe do like a one thing and then we pass it along and keep talking?
Yeah, I'm ready to get started.
This. It's like Rosebud Thorn.
It is. It's kind of we're kind of doing Rosebud Thorn, except instead of thorn, it's flower.
What?
It's the full flower. It's like would you buy the flower?
Okay. Rosebud Flower Shop.
Yeah.
Florist. Rosebud Florist. I like it. I want to get started. I'm glad that the villain was a character.
Yes.
This time around.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
Instead of just a CGI abomination. Jesus.
I think that's what really blew me away was the fact that, first off, the villain looked a lot better. I think we can all agree that whatever CGI things they put into it the first time didn't look as great, so they made some pretty good improvements. But also it was the fact that he was not a true like villain because he was an underling. And he had story. He had motivation as to why he's doing this. He had motivation as to why he was on Earth and trying to put together the mother boxes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's gonna
Also,
be
every
spoilers, by
time
the way.
that
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot to totally mention
Yeah.
that. If you haven't seen,
I just saw
the
in
Snyder
chat
Cut,
someone said they haven't watched it, so I was like, wait a
yeah,
second,
I'm
bud.
so sorry about that. Let me mention that we are going to be talking about full spoilers of the Snyder Cut. If you have not seen the Snyder Cut, you are going to be spoiled in this because we are trying to give the most accurate review of this movie as possible. So if you do not want to be spoiled, please leave, I guess, and like go watch it on your own. I think it is like it's something I should have probably mentioned a little earlier. I'm sorry that I didn't. But yes,
I
we
gave
will
them a
be doing
Dorito.
spoilers.
They can get out of here if they really want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know
All right,
what?
but yeah.
You can hang out with me. Come hang out with me if you don't want to hang out with them. I'll still give you spoilers, but I'll do it in a nice, soft way. I'm like Danny.
Yeah,
I just like to
whisper it into their
smack you
ear.
in the side of the head with the spoilers.
At the end of this, Batman kisses Superman, and it's left really unclear what the ongoing relationship is going to be.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
mean that was the
friends?
worst. That made me pretty mad that they left that up in the air. Yeah. Also, you know what I really liked about Steppenwolf is they did make him kind of sympathetic, and you know like every time like Darkseid's like, "Hey Steppenwolf, you've been naughty," Steppenwolf just like looks all like Tucker
He looks so
Carlson. He looks
sad.
like Tucker Carlson every
Holy
single time.
shit.
Like,
That's a base take.
Actual
That's so
emotion.
accurate. There was
Yeah.
a couple times. Where I was like, I was watching in the living room, and I said to my roommate Sam, like, "Damn, he kind of looks kind of cute right now. Not gonna lie."
Yeah.
And like the way that a
he
pug
does. He
looks
has puppy
cute,
dog
you know?
eyes.
Like
Honestly,
a pug.
they
That's
should
what I mean.
replace
Like,
Tucker
it's fucked
Carlson
up.
with Steppenwolf, and I think it would make it a little bit more sympathetic.
It might actually boost CNN's ratings because then they'd have something new to talk about. Apparently, their ratings are
Joe
down like
Biden.
50% since Trump left office.
Yeah, I was reading that. the
CNN
other
or
day.
Fox? Which one?
CNN and Fox. Fox is losing
Yeah.
viewers
Oh,
too.
yeah. Either way, whatever, Steppenwolf gets there and his take on everything can be like, "Oh, no, none of your pathetic Earth politics matter, for soon doomsday will come to cleanse you all."
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Then he
I
got
know
all
it's
crushed,
now
so.
for the game that everybody came here for. Fuck, kill, marry. Desaad, Darkseid, Steppenwolf. Go.
Desaad was like the hood one, right?
Yeah, he was the hood one.
Yep.
I gotta marry Steppenwolf.
Yeah, you gotta marry
Like
Steppenwolf.
to look in those eyes every morning.
Yep.
Blessed.
You know that Steppenwolf, if he's not gonna do a good job, he's at least gonna try. Like Darkseid didn't really try. You know, he
No,
kind
he
of
didn't.
he kind of took the little oof and then left. Whereas Steppenwolf, like he was going after all of them. He's a go-getter. He's making his way to the store every
Yeah.
day.
And that's
Yeah.
why you
So I mean,
fuck
obviously
Darkseid.
marry Steppenwolf, and then, dude, if you chose Darkseid as the fuck, dude, he's a Minuteman. You don't want to choose him. Like obvious Minuteman.
You
So
know
kill
what?
him. Kill him.
Oh, because he's just there to get what he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
He just steps in after the work is done. He's like, "Whoa, look at what I accomplished."
And
Yeah,
in the
and
comics,
that's when
too.
Step in Wolf steps in and fills that void with his strong arms.
Yeah. In the comics too, though, like Darkseid is very much the Thanos of the DC universe, and I think there were actually a lot of parallels in the story between Loki and Thanos in the first Avengers to this Justice League, right? You have like the all-powerful dude who seems unbeatable, but turns out is actually a lackey to someone who's a tier above him, and running errands to try and help conquer the world in their name.
And really cute.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Which actually, this makes me wonder if the reason Joss Whedon kind of changed up the story so much was because he saw that Snyder was essentially parroting his Avengers.
It's possible.
Are you saying Joss Whedon tanked Justice League?
I guess
Holy
so.
shit.
I guess that is what I'm saying.
Wow.
Biggest conspiracy ever.
Yeah,
Joss
that's a-
Whedon tanked Justice League to help the Avengers.
Yeah. But I do agree with you,
Huh.
Sean. I do think that the villain actually made sense in this movie. That I think the story overall was definitely a significant improvement from the 2017 version of Justice League, and I was happy to see that they
Oh, yeah.
had a more coherent direction with Steppenwolf in particular.
Oh, excuse me. I got the cough so crazy.
Yeah.
I also appreciated that Flash was more of a real character.
Yes.
And Cyborg was more of a
Yeah.
real character. No, I'll save that for the bad. I'll save that for the bad.
You know what? You know what I really appreciated about this movie is I hate Ben Affleck, and it made me advocate for Ben Affleck. I felt like Ben Affleck should have been in it more because he was the only good actor. So thank you for making me appreciate Ben Affleck a little bit more, Justice League.
The only good actor.
Wow. Thanks for giving the only actor with any chops the least amount of lines.
He had a lot
biggest
in the first
shithead.
one,
I hate Ben Affleck, but
he's
he's a pretty
hot.
decent actor. I will give him that. I have to give him that.
Yeah. One of the things I
not
do
the
wanna
hottest in
talk
that
about,
movie. I'm gonna tell you.
One of the things I do want to talk about is the fact that I actually thought the younger characters did better than the older characters.
Samson clearly has something to say about that.
Like I
Sorry,
really
I made the mistake of looking at the chat. I just want to say whoever said Justice League was an inside job. You got me. You got me.
Good.
No, I just wanted to say that like Cyborg and the Flash were probably the most enjoyable parts of this movie for me, whereas in the first one they were just kind of like blips on my radar, if that. And I also found that like diving into their backstory more made them these interesting characters where I kind of rooted for them to start making these improvements. Like you could see how they went from accepting their own powers to trying to fulfill whatever it is that's on their agenda or trying to move forward. Like the Flash in particular, like keeping his father's message in mind and really using that as the catalyst for his like power explosion, I would say.
And then he started running like.
Yeah, who runs like that?
Dude, my favorite was when the first scene where he's running and he's trying to save that girl who goes into the middle of the intersection, and his feet are like boom, boom, boom. They're like jutting out like a foot from his body.
I think it was cool how he ran through his shoes.
Yeah, wait. So does he just like?
Yeah, that was cool.
Did he walk out of the pet store without shoes?
Yes, he was just running in the street barefoot.
And the woman who was interviewing him just didn't question that?
Well, she looked kind of confused.
No,
but I mean,
he was
like,
in the thing with the dogs, Danny.
He had the hot dog.
With the dogs.
When he was taking the hot dog out of the air, I was like, what the fuck is this right now? Also, gonna say it, a little weird how long he looked at the woman in slow motion while trying to save her life.
Also touching her hair too. That was a creepy move. That was a creepy moment.
Like,
also, way weirder that happened and that they spent time on that, and then it all amounted to absolutely nothing.
She showed up for like maybe a couple minutes because that's how long the whole thing went. And then she just never appeared again and was never even mentioned or like seen at the end or existed like ever.
Sorry, I saw Glizzy in chat and it made me laugh. But yeah, but like for one scene, he was looking at her like this the whole time, and then she never comes back. She's just gone. Yeah. And for the audio listeners, I looked very closely.
It wouldn't have been creepy if it was like that, because that was kind of hot. Ezra Miller was creepier. Sean, can you do that again?
It's because, you know, I don't want to abuse my powers, but okay, I mean, because Twitch chat is here.
Yeah.
This one's for you, chat. Anyway, so, Danny can edit it out.
Yeah, Samson, what's something you really enjoyed about this? Like, what was something you found as a highlight?
Okay, so I have really mixed feelings on Zack Snyder. I love 300. Hot take. I love 300. I think Watchmen's really fun. I love the graphic novel. I think he does a really good job, especially when he's not writing. And although one of my friends pointed out that a lot of the fight scenes don't actually utilize the superpowers of the heroes. It's just like whip, punch in the face, trident, punch in the face. It's just like lots of punches. But like honestly, it's really fun, and it's so high. The action sequences are so highly stylized that like it was more enjoyable to watch those, and it actually felt like payoff. I'm gonna be honest. I watched maybe half of the original Justice League, and I never finished it, and I never felt bad about not finishing it.
I watched the first one twice, but sorry.
And I watched all 4 hours of this and had a pretty decent time. I enjoyed it. Is it a great movie? Absolutely not. But it's really fun, and like I would recommend checking it out. I mean, the fight scenes alone are worth sitting through it. And like you said, Danny, too, I think what makes it even better is there are stakes. It feels like there are stakes because they develop the characters. I mean, if they spent 4 hours of that, like with 4 hours of movie, if you don't develop the characters at all, I'd be rip shit about this movie.
Yeah.
But they actually do a good job of that. And you know, it feels like what almost elements of Suicide Squad wanted to be, but just got completely botched. You know, like at the end where it's like, I can't remember. It's like the dude who has fire, whatever, and he's like, I'm here for my family.
Diablo.
And then he's like, it's like, what? You guys have known each other for like 3 hours. Like this actually felt like it had stakes and like you felt things when people said things. And I think that was really cool and unique, especially for a DC movie, because I don't think I've experienced that with any of like the DC Snyder movies so far. So I'm sorry, I went off a tiny bit, but
I do have an important question to ask you guys though. Did you watch the Snyder Cut in one take? Did you watch it sitting for all 4 hours?
Absolutely fucking not.
Okay.
I watched it like over 8 periods.
Okay.
I watched the first 10 minutes, went to the liquor store, came back,
and then killed it.
And then I watched it in hour-long segments.
So here's my question, and this is something I was thinking the entire time that I was watching this. Does this really benefit from being a movie over a series?
I do wish that it had been available to watch in the chapter form that it runs.
Yes.
Because I found myself taking breaks at those points.
Yeah.
And I think it would have made it more enjoyable if they had done that.
And that's something I really want to bring up, which I just didn't understand, right? So you're dividing this movie, which is a long movie. I think we can all agree 4-ish hours is a long time to be sitting down for a single piece of media. If you're binging through like a series, that's fine. You're binging through like 2 movies, but this is one movie that is 4.5 hours. That's kind of ridiculous. Why the fuck were there chapter indicators in the thing? Are like, does Zack Snyder think we're not competent enough to figure out when you're transitioning from one section of the story to the other?
Okay. Well, the thing is that I didn't even notice
Danny,
the big changes between the sections. Like, I don't know why the fuck they were placed where they were. It didn't make, except for the epilogue, I guess.
This again, I mean, as a screen studies major, I mean, like, I looked at this movie, I watched the opening shot, and it says in the opening title slide that they made this according to Zack Snyder's artistic vision.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, if you don't think that Snyder is a true artist, then you're not going to understand why he had those chapters. So, I mean, maybe just grow a little bit, Danny.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
All I could think was like every time he had to indicate like which chapter we were getting to, I was like, okay, there was 2 things running through my mind. 1, you're a condescending prick. 2, why not just make this into an episode if you're going to announce to the world we're stopping this part of the movie and moving on to this part of the movie? It just, the whole thing pissed me off.
Now we're going to start the final battle.
It's just like, it just felt so condescending to me. It's like, it's one of the examples of when you're doing like a movie or a TV show and there's too much tell and not show. I think they didn't need those like chapter markers, and maybe I'm maybe I'm focusing in too much of it, but it felt too much of like he had to tell the audience we were moving on to this portion of the movie rather than the audience figuring out, okay, we're now going from the battle sequence to the planning sequence to the organizing sequence and then continuing.
I mean, like, I'll say it again. I did not recognize I didn't internalize any of the chapter titles, and I didn't really feel that much of a shift in the movie whenever they came around, except literally the epilogue.
Yeah.
So
The epilogue was big.
Jesus Christ, it was the longest goddamn epilogue.
It was so...
I will hold off, but yeah.
We'll
I also want to say, like, yeah, I mean...
At the end.
Yeah, and the chapters are dumb. I mean, like, all jokes aside, it was dumb. I don't understand the purpose. I mean, like, I'm thinking about other movies that did it, like Hateful Eight. Does it? I mean, that's Quentin Tarantino. I mean, like,
he's allowed to do whatever he wants.
He's a pretentious dick. He'll do whatever he wants to, and like everyone will be fine with it. I don't care if
as long as when they go boom, like, they go big with blood.
It's just, there is something really funny to me about Zack Snyder being like, "This is my creative vision." You know, you gave me $70 million for my creative vision, and here you go. I'm gonna do chapters, and I'm gonna. Okay, can we talk about the 4:3 aspect ratio finally,
Yeah,
please?
yeah.
I'm just like,
Are we just going straight into the cons at this point? Or are we going into
I
negative
think
stuff?
the cons and the pros are so intertwined.
They are.
It's true.
They
Every
are.
time I have a pro, there's also like a con along
Yeah.
with it.
I
So
do
yeah,
have-
let's do some con focus.
I do actually have one final pro that I want to mention, and I don't know if you guys are going to catch on this, but I actually think J.K. Simmons is a perfect Commissioner Gordon. I know we only got him for like a brief second, but I thought he did a really great job to the point where in a scene with 4 of the main superhero characters, he was the one that stood out to me.
I thought he was a
Yeah.
good Commissioner Gordon too.
I did, yeah. He had so
my
few
favorite
lines. I
part-
feel like I couldn't really judge him. Sorry, go
My
ahead.
favorite
Tom.
part
Sorry.
is when they handed him a bunch of like, oh, here's like today's calls and complaints and like the notes for you. And then he threw them all in the fucking trash. And I was like, hell yeah, that's a cop right there. Like, here's a bunch of civilian concerns. Anyway, into the garbage pail. Let me go talk to Batman.
Yeah,
Like, it's just, why not?
sure. Yeah.
Oh god.
No, I don't know. For some reason, I just like I loved that scene specifically because of him. I thought he just
The one where he
captured,
threw
like,
the complaints into the garbage. That was
Yeah,
your
yeah.
favorite one.
He reminded me of every
The
manager I've
hand
ever
flick.
interacted with.
Oh,
Yeah.
Karen.
Oh my
Alright.
god. Okay, slight side tangent, but I went to get my vaccine today and I saw the most Karen like woman ever. She had like the short blonde hair with the big glasses and her mask
hell yeah.
wasn't over her nose, and as we're waiting on the lines for everything, she as soon as she go around a corner and see how much line was left, she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is an absolute disgrace. How am I having waiting this long?"
For what it's worth, that's what I felt in the Wendy's drive-through while I was while I was rushing to get back here.
Perfect.
Another car? What is this?
Okay, so let's get into the 4:3 aspect ratio. Samson, you are a film major. Why would you ever do a 4:3 aspect ratio?
So I had to look up why he did this because it didn't make sense to me. He claims that I honestly am not familiar with IMAX enough to say whether or not this is real, but he claims that he was shot for IMAX in 4:3, so everything was like the shots were set up for 4:3 because that's best for IMAX. I don't know if that's real or not. 4:3 is also what was basically used like 2000 and earlier for TV because it was made for like those boxy TVs.
Square TVs, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of TV shows before like 2000-ish were in 4:3. So it didn't make sense to me outside of like, I mean, I guess if he was filming it for IMAX for real, like, I guess that makes sense. I didn't know that was a thing though. And honestly, it like looked I felt like I should be watching it in my Instagram feed with all the goddamn filters and the aspect ratio. It didn't look good. And what killed me was like, and this is what I like wanted to talk about as a pro and is also on at the same time, his visual style made it so enjoyable. I mean, Snyder has like this really distinct like
Dark.
look to his movies.
It's
And
dark.
yeah, I mean, like it's visually, it's aesthetically kind of interesting and fun. And maybe it's not great, but like I enjoy watching it. However, it was really hard for me to be like, wow, it just looks so good when it's in goddamn 4:3. It really just crushed my soul.
Sure.
Well, let
It
me
just
let me
hurt
hit you
me.
with
It
a
hurt me.
left hook here. I honestly didn't really notice or mind the 4:3.
I noticed it, but I didn't like it didn't stand out to me enough that I would just be like, this is terrible. I just thought it was weird. The whole time I thought it was weird.
It also annoyed me. Like the part of it that annoyed me is that they felt the need to announce it at the
Yeah.
beginning. Like, hey, just so you know, this is in 4:3 because of Zack Snyder's artistic
I
vision.
feel like they just want
And it's
to
like,
honestly,
oh, your
I thought
artistic
that
vision for
was-
this CGI.
I thought
slam
that was
fest.
so much more insulting than the chapters telling you what's coming next. I was like, are you really trying to convince me that this is part of Zack Snyder's creative vision? Fuck you.
So like I,
condescending. I feel like he puts in all these little edit things because he just like he thinks he's above the rest of us and we won't catch on.
well, the thing is, honestly, I wouldn't. There would probably be some people if that wasn't there, at least the warning that it was in 4:3, that would be like, why is my movie messed up?
Yeah. That's
Why is this happening? I used to think, and I'm sorry, Mom, that I'm telling this story, that like that sort of thing didn't happen because I had read that in I think the second new Star Wars movie, a Jedi, wipes his eyebrows or whatever it was called. A new Jedi. What the fuck was the second of the new trilogy called?
It was The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, not a Jedi wipes his eyebrows. Cool. But there's that scene where Holden Caulfield does the 180 in the ship and shoots right back into the enemies. Calls them phonies and then goes right into them. Or Holdo, I think her name was Holdo.
No, I know what you're talking
Man, if
and it gets
if Kylo
it gets
Ren
silent in
had
the
a
theater.
red hunting cap,
Good
honestly,
references.
but the point being, it gets silent because it's like, oh, there's no sound in space, and it just has the cool visual and it's silent. And apparently, I read an article that people were like, "What happened to the sound of the movie? What's going on?" And then I was like, "Oh, who would do that?" And then my mom, like later that week, called me up and was like, "Oh, I thought the movie was broken." My mom from like New Jersey. I thought the movie was broken, Sean. And I was like, "Mom, no." So she went, "What? Is the sound off?" Sorry, Ma. Love you.
Oh, sorry, Mrs. McGarry.
Call tomorrow.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know what Twitch is. She thinks it's what the dog does when it needs to pee.
all right.
Which is
who's
correct.
ready to be mad at me?
Yeah, I'm ready to be mad at you.
Okay.
I.
Only thing I hated more than 4-3 was Ezra Miller.
Which
Really?
one is Ezra Miller? I don't know who that is, to be honest.
Flash.
Yeah.
I just
I
found-
thought he
I
was a little
couldn't-
bit better.
Does he
I
have
couldn't tell if it
Asperger's?
was what.
Does the character that he was supposed to be playing, was that character supposed to have Asperger's?
Dude, I
I don't
don't know.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
I just like I liked the character at first, and then the more quips he made, I was like, this is a rated R movie.
Yeah.
These are quips that maybe would work in a PG movie.
Yeah.
So
And he
about
is
the
not
rated
selling
R,
these. And
That-
I'm just pissed off at this character. I don't know if I just hate this actor or if I hate the dialogue that they have given this character.
Yeah.
Am I correct that the only like serious swear was Batman during the epilogue part that we can address later?
I think you might be right. I don't
Because he
think there was
says
much
the frick
swearing in
word.
this.
Batman says the frick word. I want to
Batman
save that
says
for
the
the end
frick
though.
word on Snyder.
After the Joker said something that I don't understand.
Me either.
What does that mean, Mom?
Okay, so here's my
We'll get
thoughts on the
there.
Flash, because
Like,
I
you
am,
made me
Chat,
snort.
no, don't do it.
I am a big
Don't say
fan
the
of the
frick
Flash.
word.
I'm a big fan of speedsters in general, and the Flash has always been one of my favorite characters. I think the major issue I had with Ezra Miller, overall, I thought he did a pretty good job. I thought he had a pretty good performance. What I hated, though, is that he didn't feel like a speedster. Like, to me, speedsters, they're fast, they're constantly, like, saying things, they're kind of moving around all the time. Like, they're these, like, ADD, bouncing from one place to the other because they have super speed and they can do that. But I think the effects for Ezra Miller's Flash might be, like, too much money or whatever, because it just felt like they never used it. The one example that really came to me is when they're walking up the steps casually in the sewer, and they're all following behind Batman, and Batman is a normal human being, yet Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and the Flash were all, like, significantly slower than him going up the steps. And I was just like, if you have super speed, why would you not go up there and scout the area and let them know?
There was also the part where Cyborg was like evacuating people, and he kept running up and being like, "Hurry up, guys!" And then like, it's like they were wounded and kidnapped by aliens. Give them a minute, dude. Like, go help them fight that monster from another universe instead
why
of
would you not zip them
harassing
in
these
and out?
civilians.
Why would the Flash not, like, grab them and bring them in and out so he could help fight? Like,
He
there's
used
so
all
many
his grabbing
things.
energy to get that glizzy from earlier. So
Good point,
that was
good
all he
point.
could do. Yeah,
That's where the budget went. It just felt
glizzy was
like
for chat.
he didn't feel like a Flash a lot of the times. Like, there are definitely moments where he feels like a Flash. I think in particular that big running scene that he has in the climax of the movie. But like, there were so many moments where I just thought, like, he should be bouncing around more. Like, he should be faster. They're not playing into this Flash character enough. And maybe that's just because he's new and he's still learning his powers, but I felt like they could have made him more ADD moving around.
Also, like every time that he got into a fight, his portion of that fight ended with him tripping and falling.
It did.
Every
Yeah,
single
I
time.
wanted to say, like, Yeah, no,
My
sorry,
favorite,
go ahead.
yeah, my favorite was when he bonked Wonder Woman back her sword, which I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, he ran around pushing the sword back to her, but then he just like checks her out for a little too long and trips. And I was like, dude, I get it.
Yeah.
It's Gal
He's a
Gadot,
perv.
cool, but like another time, really. Like, first off, don't do it in the Speed Force. That's not what the Speed Force
I
is
feel
for.
like I feel like it was like a plot thing where just like he's so god level powerful that they just had to make him trip in 3 different fights. Like, I mean, he literally just eats shit like 3 different times, like at crucial points where it's like, oh, we have a guy that can reverse time. I don't know how to
But
undo
no,
this
that's
other
the
than to
no-no
make him
rule.
really clumsy.
Yeah.
Let's show how he juts out his goddamn feet like this when he runs, and then maybe he'll trip and fall a bunch of times.
Okay. So I gotta say, you could probably trim like 45 minutes of this movie
Yep.
if you just stopped with all the slow motion shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
can we talk about how it was so fucking slow? Like, for moments that didn't need to be. The one that stands out to me is when Lois Lane is walking in the rain.
Yeah, I knew you were going
What? Why? Did
But
that need
she's
to slow down?
pretty.
It's
So
just-
I don't know. So you can look at Lois Lane
It's just
and pretend to
Snyder,
be the
like-
Flash for a minute, dude.
He just slowed down like everything, and even when the Flash was moving fast, those scenes still took like 3.5 minutes. Like it felt so long, and there were so many areas where you could have trimmed if it just wasn't in slow motion.
You know, I quickly looked at
Okay.
chat, and they had pointed out something
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about. Was that the original cut of this did have some weird horny moments. Like the specific one I think of was when Wonder Woman is sliding down the wall, and it's just like her ass getting closer and closer to the camera, then stops right in front of it.
Yeah.
There were less of those, but there were still a couple. Like
That's true.
Sorry, Samson, you were saying something though.
No. All I was gonna say is somebody in chat also brought up that they were disappointed in Snyder compromising his artistic vision because of being also gross and horny, just like Joss Whedon. I just want to say, if you didn't think Zack Snyder was gross, go and watch Sucker Punch.
Oh my god!
Please go and watch Sucker Punch. This movie shouldn't
I
have
haven't
been
seen it.
made.
It's
I don't
so
know
gross.
how it was made. It's awful. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But,
But it's got Vanessa Ann Hudgens.
That's true.
Oh,
There were there
Back
were a
to
lot
the-
of moments of the Flash kind of being this creepy pervy dude, like the hair thing, and then just him like constantly trying to think about how he could hit on Wonder Woman and go out with her.
yeah,
That
was
did
weird.
lead to a funny line though, where it's like, you think I'm too young for her, and she's like, she's 5,000 years old. Everyone's young for her. But
Yeah.
but the rest of the moments with him is weird. He's a very polarizing character.
So
Yeah.
there was a part in it that at one point Wonder Woman's like, oh, it's when she looks at the plane and is like, I knew a guy who would love to fly this, which is like, okay, that's when she brings up the dead. What's his name? The actor's name?
Chris Pine.
Who cares about the
Yeah,
character's name?
Steve. His name's
Yeah.
Steve.
Bring
The
up-
character's
bring up
Steve.
Chris Pine.
Pine's the actor.
But she
Call him
didn't
Steve,
mention
call him by his name.
She excuse me, sir. Excuse me. She didn't mention the one day in 1984 where he
Yes.
possessed someone else's body.
Yes.
She didn't mention that. She's like, I haven't seen him in 70 years. Not true. Not true. You saw him when he possessed that random guy who lived alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
chill out, Wonder Woman.
So that also just brings in more issues with Wonder Woman 84, where the entire movie literally doesn't matter. Like, nothing about
Yeah.
that movie carried over to this. I was thinking, so she's talking with Cyborg. Cyborg flies away. I was like, man, you should go after him. I think he needs some help. If only you could fly. Wow, I wonder, I thought you could fly. Why aren't you flying after him? And she can fly. She did
No
learn
lightning,
to fly
Danny.
in
No
in
lightning to
85.
lasso.
It's just
84.
84, my bad. It's just that entire movie, which is a whole nother rant that we've had like countless times. It doesn't matter. They shouldn't have made it in 1984 if you're not going to carry anything over. And she should have flown. Why didn't she fly? Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. But in terms of the slow motion, to bring it back for a second,
Yes.
the part when I really was feeling it was in like the first hour somewhere, where it was Victor's flashback, a Cyborg's flashback,
Mm.
and it was slow motion football.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Slow-mo
I'm really
football was so
glad.
fun.
I'm really glad that Cyborg's getting more backstory, but do we need like to make this a sports movie for 5 minutes to do that?
Can I
Like, do
bring
we
up-
have to?
Yeah.
Before we move on, I need to bring up my favorite thing is the slow-mo made it painfully obvious that dude, he's running down the field and this
Yeah.
dude is supposed to be jumping across like to try to get him and he like jukes him out, but like you can see like him running and this guy just jumps in front of him and never crosses his path. Like it clearly never gets like near
Yeah.
Cyborg.
Yeah.
That's why he wanted it slow. So that you could, for the real film buffs like you, Samson, this was his test.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. that
Email
was,
him
again,
at Zack
Snyder just saying
Snyder
we are as
at
flawed as these
hotmail.com.
heroes. Flaw to err is to be human, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
Artistic vision,
exactly.
So here's something that I want to bring up that my dad points out a lot whenever we watch or talk about a Snyder cut. And I think this is very prevalent in this movie, like super often. I think this happens all the time and you can find it in any number of scenes. Zack Snyder is a director who goes after shots that look amazing. Right? He has a very artistic vision, and when he sets his mind to it, that's what the shot's gonna look like. So, for instance, when Silas Stone puts the tracker on the mother box, and like all the lasers are going around, that looks amazing. Or when the Amazon temple falls to the ground, that looks great. But he sacrifices
When the Flash he grabs a hot dog.
yeah, the Flash grabs a hot dog. He sacrifices the story and things making sense over how good it looks. So
Yeah.
like the Amazons, why did they lock themselves in the temple? Why couldn't
don't
they just
know.
shut the door and then leave? Why did they have to kill themselves? Or like
My favorite was the ones holding the door open.
Yes.
Then they get off the wrong side, and it's like, what are you? You
Yeah.
didn't. You could have just
Only
not
after
died.
you get a slow motion cut of just female bodybuilder abs.
oh yeah.
You just get abs shot.
But then also going back to the Silas Stone thing, why couldn't he have not just like stepped outside of the laser grid? Why did he have to kill himself in order to get the tracker on?
Yo, here's the real thing. He just wanted to die.
I guess so.
This is actually a movie about dealing with crippling depression after your wife dies
yeah.
and your son becomes a
my.
cyborg.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it just like to me, it happened over and over where he goes after these great looking shots and they look great, but they just don't make sense story wise.
Very important theory. So we know that he made that recording for Cyborg. Cyborg's dad did. And he listens to it at the end. And there's a Cyborg movie coming out. The Cyborg movie
Is there?
is going to be 13 Reasons Psy. And it's going to be 12 other tape recorders that explain to Cyborg why his dad killed himself.
Wait, I thought they canceled the Cyborg movie because they've been having issues with.
Don't
Ray
give it to me,
Fisher.
Danny. Give me 13 Reasons Psy. I don't want reality to interrupt my dream right now.
No, I'm pretty sure they canceled the Cyborg movie because
has
Ray
to go back to
Fisher
high
was like
school.
going off on DC and like
don't know
calling
who
out
Ray
Warner
Fisher
Brothers
is.
for all this like racist shit.
Who is Ray Fisher?
He's the guy who
Is
played
that the cyborg actor?
Yeah.
That could be true. I mean, if he was calling him out for good stuff, good for him. I don't know anything about the situation though.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, so that was just something that stood out to me where it was like, I'm watching this and it doesn't make sense. Like, why are all these people dying when they really can just sidestep and avoid it? And this just like happened over and over and over. But,
which makes me think of something. Much more blood in this one, which was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Well, that's. I think I was trying to figure out why it was rated R, other than Batman saying "fuck" one extra time.
No,
Because, I
you
mean,
spoiled
honestly-
it. It's the frick word.
Sorry.
We have to keep the Joker part a secret then until the very end.
But like, I was trying to think about it. I'm like, this isn't that violent. But the MPAA does account for blood in the violence. So the blood is, I mean, in addition to the swearing, was the one swear actually probably, like, I'm not joking, probably threw it over the edge. The blood is like a big no-no because the MPAA is a bunch of stupid asses.
So here's the real question then. Do you think that Snyder made Batman say the frick word because he wanted it rated R then? Like, he was like, you know what? We're going to have Joker talk about the naughty and Batman say the frick word, and that'll make it rated R. And so my creative vision of having a rated R 4/3 movie
Also,
will be
All right.
complete.
speaking
Guys.
of characters saying something, did Amber Heard have an accent in the Aquaman movie, or was that just for the Justice League one?
Dan, you're going to have to ask me to remember the Aquaman movie that clearly.
No. Like, she has this weird, like, hybrid English, like, British accent going on, and I just don't remember that from any other performance of her in, like, the side character of Aquaman.
Yeah.
That's called an Atlantean accent. Who was the what famous actor was that
Willem
random
Dafoe.
other Atlantean? Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I was like, Willem Dafoe.
He literally
You're
did
telling
the you and me kid, we could rule this city to
Oh,
Aquaman.
we
like,
could
you
rule
and
this
me, kid.
underwater city.
We could take
Hey,
this
come
trident
on.
and be the king of Atlantis.
Question: is the Aquaman movie before or after Justice League?
I think it's after.
Okay, I was trying to remember that.
I think
could
all
not.
these movies are after. Except
Gotcha.
for Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel.
All right, Danny, you got 5 seconds. Who, if Don Cheadle would be in this movie, who would you want him to be? 5, 4,
I think
3,
he'd have to be
2,
Cyborg.
1.
Joker. Oh,
I
wow,
would 100% take Don Cheadle Joker.
I want Don Cheadle to say the Joker's closing monologue.
Oh my god, wait.
I 100%.
He has
Sean,
I
I think
found him
I
on
want
Twitter.
the McGarry cut.
Honestly,
I
so
want the McGarry cut with Don Cheadle as Joker.
I think that someone could take this. Well, first of all, yes, make Don Cheadle the Joker, but also I think you could cut like a 3-hour really good movie out of this
I agree.
potentially.
Mhm.
Like,
so
through
let me
editing.
tell you what Don Cheadle's Twitter name is, right? It's Don quotes and then the apostrophe T stop believing end quotes Cheadle.
what?
I'm
Yeah,
lost,
but
dude.
I didn't really understand that, to be honest.
Okay, wait. Maybe I should just like screen cap it or something. I don't know. It's basically you know how there's like the for contractions they have the little like apostrophe thing above the name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that, but then instead of going straight to that apostrophe, there's quotes before it. So it's Don Cheadle, but in the quotes, it's T stop believing. So his name spells out don't stop believing Cheadle.
Oh, okay. I actually get it now. I get it.
And that's his Twitter.
Don't stop believing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
Don't stop
one
believing
other...
that he could be the Joker.
Oh, good point. One other character I really want to bring up who I felt like her arc made no sense, and that is Lois Lane. Now,
Yeah.
Lois Lane, she you keep building her up, and she keeps like going to visit
She's
the
the key.
graves. she goes to visit the gravesite, and she's sad. She's in mourning, whatever. And then you have the Martian Manhunter show up as Clark Kent's mom for some
Yo, what
reason.
was the point of that?
Yeah. So he has an entire conversation with her, and it's really heartwarming conversation. Like they're talking about grief and like the loss of her son, whatever. And the message she takes away from that is I need to move on and start living my life. Like I need to stop grieving and only going to visit the gravesite. And then I shit you not, the next time she visits the gravesite, Clark Kent comes back to life. And it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point of that scene?
Yeah.
Because her entire arc up until that point is moving on from her grief. And then
So-
they just bring back the one character she was trying to get over.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
Doesn't
oh,
what-
Yeah.
No, you go first, Samson. Because mine is a bit.
I also wanted to say how I like how Aunt Martha, what the hell's her name? I always want to say Aunt May.
It is Martha.
Yeah,
Because remember,
yeah.
Batman goes, Martha.
Yeah.
And then
Martha,
Superman
yeah.
goes,
She
you know
walks
my
in, she's
mom's
like,
name?
why'd you say that?
Yeah. Martha's like, I lost the farm. I never told anybody. And then she walks out and it's really just Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter's the one that told everybody that she lost the farm. Like,
Yeah.
how'd he find that out?
And also, so 2 points that I have. One, you're Superman's mom. Set up a GoFundMe. Shit's gonna get funded in like 10 minutes. I would give $20 to Superman's mom if he died and she was about to lose the farm to a bank. Fuck banks. That's Borden Browsing's official
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
2. So, okay, they had this in-depth conversation, right? But then it wasn't actually Martha, it was the Martian Manhunter. Later on, they meet up when Superman comes back, and you think Lois is probably at some point like, hey, Martha, thank you so much for coming to my apartment. apartment that one time and having that conversation with me. Because
Yeah.
as far as she is aware, that 100% happened. Then Martha's going to be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I haven't spoken to you in months. Which then either means that Lois Lane thinks that Martha has gone completely senile, or Martha thinks that Lois Lane is just losing it over grief and like confusion. And that is a story arc that is just completely unresolved.
I would love to see that story arc.
Oh, that was a shape-shifting alien. My bad. That I told to tell everyone about the farm instead of doing it myself.
It's moments like that, which is the reason this is like a 4.5-hour movie. Like, I get it, you want these scenes, but they make no sense. And I get maybe it looks nice, but there was 0 point to it. Maybe if that was in the beginning of the movie, if that was in the beginning of her like trying to move on and then he comes back, but it's the timing of it too. And that also brings up my next point, that the story at times can be all over the place because he's trying to shoehorn in too many characters and offer too many backstories simultaneously, where like when you take a movie like Avengers, right? So Avengers had 4 or 5 movies leading up to it, which were origin stories for all the characters, bar like Hawkeye and Black Widow. So you come into Avengers and you don't have to explain who these characters are. You don't have to explain where they came from, their motivations, how they got their powers, because you've already seen that in the movies leading up to it. With Justice League, and I get like this is why it's so long and he had like such a huge vision. You have to explain Cyborg, you have to explain Flash, you have to explain like part of Clark Kent's history, you have to explain part of Aquaman. Like there's so many backstories that he has to offer that when you're looking at it in terms of pacing and story, a lot of scenes kind of go out of place because I think he wanted them in there but didn't know where to put them.
Yeah.
Fair. I do think though that it doesn't make sense, but like it works for what he had to do. I think he did the best he could do.
Yeah.
And I think he deserves credit for that. However, as much as I love Martian Manhunter, I don't think it makes sense to have had Martian Manhunter in there with the rated R cut if you're not going to do full dong like Watchmen. I want like whack between the thighs, like, and they didn't give any of that. $70 million too. I mean, like, it wouldn't have been that hard. They have the Foley artists to do that.
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
that's why the Flash grabbed the glizzy to help make the Foley effects for Martian Manhunter's dog. Just slap it in between his arm and his chest.
Yeah. So then here's my last like major.
He's so afraid of fires. Because he's seen hot dogs get roasted on fires, and he's like, no, not my monster dog. These Earthlings are monsters. They destroy themselves.
I want to hear Martian Manhunter. I mean, if they had Joker saying in the trailer, at least, we live in a society, I want to hear Martian Manhunter say, I need a Magnum condom for my Magnum dong.
And then I drop it.
Give me it, Zack Snyder.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, but for real, why did they have the Joker say we live in a society in the trailer but then not in the movie?
Oh,
we should be able to sue him. Oh, okay.
Not as to why it was in the movie, but apparently the line was ad-libbed and then Snyder just didn't want it in there.
Unacceptable. So anyway, that is false advertisement.
Also,
and
I'm going to open my window. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Danny, don't jump out the window. No.
All right, I'm going to open up the forbidden box while Danny's up. Let's talk about the reach around.
Oh no, Samson!
Let's do it while Danny's not here.
He's getting a little warm
he's
from
back.
The COVID shot.
Oh yeah. All right, so Samson brought it up while you were gone.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We were talking about
my
how
thick dump truck of an ass.
it was weird that they kept Amber Heard in the epilogue, even though Amber Heard's out.
Oh, is she officially out?
Right? He can't know, Sean. He's not old enough. He doesn't know what that means.
I don't remember if she was Amber.
Yeah, so let's talk about the epilogue for a minute.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she was pressured to leave. Yeah, that's a good point.
Fish out of water, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the epilogue. What? That was like 10 minutes of footage from the future that ended up being Batman's dream.
Yeah.
Where the Joker
Like, I love
tells
how
him,
they had it. Like they set it up with like I love how they set it up with Ben Affleck being like, I had a dream that Lois Lane said she was the key, but it was like something
But
darker.
the Flash
It
said
was
that,
like-
yeah.
Well, that's actually one thing that Joss.
Oh yeah,
Whedon-
I don't know. Yeah,
That's
I
one
was
thing that
happy
Joss
at
Whedon
that-
did
at
better
that point.
than
You can just
than what's it called?
Yeah.
Than Snyder, which was he actually gave an explanation to that. So I don't know if you remember in the original Justice League, Samson froze, by the way.
Oh yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, is he good?
He'll be back. Look at how he looks.
I'm
He
here.
looks
Can you
like
guys
he's
hear me?
oh,
Okay,
there he's
okay.
back. Yeah.
You were so frozen. Okay, so that's one of the things that Joss Whedon did better than Zack Snyder, which was he gave an explanation to the epilogue / the Lois Lane is the key, where the Flash randomly appears to Bruce Wayne like very early on in the first Justice League, and it's just like Lois Lane, like it's the key, and like came from the future to tell him that message, which is why
Does that
he
happen in
has-
the movie?
Yeah, that was in the first Justice League.
Oh, that was in the first. Wait a minute. So they want us to watch both movies to get the full.
they didn't
No, no,
have-
I'm-
they
I'm
didn't have
just
Leto,
saying-
though.
I'm saying that's one thing that Joss Whedon added in there that Snyder didn't have, which helped make the story more cohesive. Because he's saying
Yeah.
these things like he's having these visions for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
And then he also is like Lois Lane is the key, like it came to me in a memory or something like that. But that's the other thing too. In the Joss Whedon cut, Lois Lane was called in because Bruce Wayne knew, like Batman knew, that if Clark woke up, he was going to need someone to anchor him. So he had said that I made a call, like, or told Alfred, like, make the call. We need the whatever it was. Like, I think she was like the contingency plan or something. He knew.
Chat said that happened in Batman versus Superman. By
Was that
the way,
Batman
he
versus
had a
Superman?
It
I
could
thought
be.
that was in Justice League.
If we can trust possibly Paul, which may or may not be Paul. Could be. I
point.
don't know. That's the thing. It's hard
thought,
to tell.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. The entire time I
I'll
thought
give him
that
a
was,
Dorito.
I thought that was in Justice League.
Either way.
there
But
needed
what
to be
was
some
weird to
kind
me
of
is that it
explanation.
just. Yeah, because it just cut to that for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And by the way, the part that made Batman say frick, I think it's time we talk about it. The Joker offers Batman a reach around.
Yeah, what the
Doesn't
fuck?
understand what that means, Sean. Don't say that to Danny.
So let's
I'm
talk about the
sorry.
epilogue. The epilogue was great, but it was weird as fuck. Like
Mhm.
so it's setting up like very clearly multiple Justice League movies, but based on how this
Yes,
one went,
all based around Joker giving Batman a reach around. We understand this is
porno.
where the universe is going.
porno.
We don't need to
Live
talk
in a
about the obvious.
society
Yeah.
where you can't give your
Your bro a reach around.
even
What
get
kind
through
of
it.
society is it worth
Yeah.
being in?
and then apparently that's homosexual. We're just friends.
Also-
who want to give each other a little bop bop.
Also, those shots were so close in on the Joker, yet it wasn't in focus.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
also, I thought that. Sorry, it wasn't in. Also, I actually thought the Flash's outfit was kind of cool. I will admit.
yeah, that's actually
He
from
had
the
like
comics.
a suit.
So
Was
in
the reach
comics-
around also from the comics?
God, I wish.
Oh, that's panel 336 in chapter 421, where we see the Joker and Batman coping in a cold winter night.
Yeah.
They need to stay warm somehow.
Well, so
Okay, my biggest sorry, real quick. I just
Yeah.
want to say my biggest complaint about the epilogue though was not Leto as the Joker. It's that again, like I'm surprised that they had Amber Heard there, and I really, especially with the budget, was really expecting them, and with the R rating, was hoping that they'd bring in Amy from the Sonic universe.
Oh, now that would really make use of the R rating.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think the likelihood is of Amber Heard being replaced in the future
She is
100.
replaced. Yeah, I just looked it
by
up.
Amy from the Sonic universe?
With Amy?
With Amy, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a guarantee.
How much would you like to see that, Danny?
I mean, does it go higher than 1 out of 10? Like in terms of
Go
like
as
how
high
much
as
I
you
want to
want.
see it?
Go as high as you want.
All right, then
Yeah.
445.
Whoa.
All right,
What-
Danny.
you
in,
had
terms,
the
in terms of
infinite
your
timeline.
Danny, in terms of your wife,
Good recovery, King. Good
would-
recovery.
would Kim Possible with her hair and skin color reversed rank higher than Amy as Amber Heard's character that I don't know the name of because I don't care enough in the Justice League.
This girl.
Someone in chat did ask what happened to the epilogue. Let me actually explain what happened.
Did you not answer my question, Danny? Who
I
ranks
said
higher?
I don't know. It's too tough a question.
Cop out, dude.
It's too tough. I gotta think.
Okay.
On it. So someone in chat asked what happened at the epilogue. There's multiple scenes in the epilogue. We see that Lex Luthor breaks out of prison, hires Deathstroke, who has been talking about his cameo in this movie for like 4 years, and that was all he really got. Then they have this weird like futuristic death world where I guess Superman turns and works with Apocalypse and Darkseid and takes over the Earth, and it's like a rugged Batman who lost a ton of weight, mind you. Ben Affleck has lost so much weight since like the 2017 version. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Because he was like a raging alcoholic when he first filmed it, so he lost like all that weight as he went sober.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I didn't know that.
Whatever. So in the epilogue, it's like this rugged, like desert Mad Max kind of world where you have Batman mixed with the Joker and Deathstroke and Amber Heard instead of like the Aquaman. Flash has got this cool suit from the comics, and and Cyborg is there too.
Deathstroke is still there.
Yeah, Deathstroke's still there, and they basically
And don't forget about Le Joker.
Yeah, they have this like there's this long, intense conversation between Batman and Joker, which just keeps going on and really doesn't have much significance to the plot other than the two of them just like baiting each other, like just like see who could piss off the other one first.
You know what my favorite part of that was? Like
The reach
a
around?
bunch of enemy, yes, but a bunch of enemy ships fly over. They come out from hiding and are like, okay, we gotta keep moving, otherwise they'll find us.
Yeah.
And then the Batman and the Joker proceed to have like monologues at each other where the Joker's like, yes, I killed Robin and you only seem to care about this, that, and the other thing, and anyway, I'm gonna tug you off.
Yeah.
And then Batman says, fuck. And then it's like, oh no, they found us. And it's like, well, maybe if you didn't spend so long just like with your little ushy gushy back and forth, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But it was a dream anyway, so
yeah. Okay, so in like, why is that just a dream? Why does he keep having these dreams? Why are there's no explanation to the fact he's dreaming about the Joker giving him a wraparound?
a rapper. I don't know. I truly don't know.
I told you he wouldn't understand, Sean.
You're right.
Yeah, good point.
I'm sorry,
not
I'm
old enough yet.
I'm not old enough or mature enough to understand why he'd be dreaming about those things.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, the epilogue was cool. It went on for a little too long, but I just like, I don't get if they explain, maybe if they set up another movie and they explain like what's going on with this epilogue thing, I could see it making sense. But at the same time, like, why do you keep making these cool like Mad Max style scenes if they don't impact anything in the current plot?
I just don't know.
Yeah, and Cyborg had one too. Cyborg had one where he saw like Superman destroying the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, when he was touching the mother boxes, and he just didn't mention it. He didn't mention it to anyone.
No, he's like he's like no, and then the Flash is like, wait, now, and then starts running, and it's just like,
yeah, it didn't really have any payoff. Like it didn't.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking on the mother box, I actually want to talk about, maybe this is a hot take. I don't think Superman needed to be in this movie.
You know what? That's something I was thinking about that I wanted to bring up, is that this movie did a much better job of making me think that the team minus Superman could actually win.
Yeah.
Because in the movie before that, like in the original cut, no. There was they didn't get anywhere close to defeating Steppenwolf, just like not even a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you can't have Justice League without Superman, so you needed him in that way, I guess.
Yeah. But if you think about it, if you take out Superman, it actually makes a lot of stories more cohesive, because then it makes Lois Lane's moving on arc make sense because Superman isn't coming back, so she's moving forward. It makes them coming together as a team make sense. All you have to do really is just give Wonder Woman and Aquaman a bit more strength so that they can 2v1 Steppenwolf and distract. So Cyborg could do whatever the fuck he was doing with the mother boxes, and the
Flash could keep running in a circle.
Yeah, like Superman shows up, and then Aquaman and Wonder Woman are just kind of standing around, like, wow, look at him go. And it's just like
He's so fast.
Yeah, he's so fast. And I was just like, aside from the pretty good scene where he first comes out and he's fighting all four of them. I thought that was
Yeah.
done better, especially the
Yeah.
Flash like speed sequence with him. I just thought that like Superman didn't need to be in this movie.
No, not the one thing. Good thing that they cut out was that weird story about that like Slovakian family
Yeah.
from the first one.
Yeah.
The ones who were just like hiding in the building. They would cut back to them every like 20 minutes to be like, "Hey, this family of Eastern Europeaners, or Europeepies, as I like to call them, is still in this building, and now they're in a truck, and now they're saved by Superman, and now they're not in the story anymore."
Yeah.
I do want to say though, like, I think there was a moment when Superman shows back up,
Like at the very end, where it's just like, oh goddamn, like I am so here for this. Like
Yeah.
I just want to see Superman beat the shit out of Steppenwolf.
Did he?
Like,
It was
so
really
I mean,
fun.
like,
His ear?
regardless of whether or not it's needed,
Yeah, his,
like
like,
I
horn
enjoyed it.
thing.
Yeah, he lasered it off, right?
Yeah. That was dark.
Like his horn.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Dark
I loved it.
side.
I was there for it.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying
Oh.
like that wasn't a good moment. And it was cool that he comes back and he saves the day. I just felt like you could do the story without him, especially considering like there was a lot more building of the characters and story in this one that you don't necessarily need to be like, "Hey, check out these characters that we're developing and telling you how they're going to get better." Yeah, they're actually not good enough. We're going to bring in someone else. Like, you know what I mean?
I agree, but I think fans would be pissed if there was ever a Justice League movie
That's
without
true.
Superman. It'd be like the Avengers without like Tony Stark or Captain America or something.
Well, I mean, that's what we're going to be seeing.
Well, we got like 3 of them. We got 4 though
Yeah.
with them. So, you know, but this is the first Justice League movie of almost certainly another one after now that it's been kind of rejuvenated, I guess, by the Snyder Cut. Snyder.
Also, is
Yeah,
Lois
this would never be
pregnant?
released in theaters. What?
Is
I don't
Lois
think
pregnant? There was a scene where they showed her with a pregnancy test next to her bed.
so. Did they really?
Yeah.
Huh, didn't see. Well, I guess they're celebrating his return, huh? Hey.
Hey. I
Joker doesn't
legitimately
need to be
thought
worried
that.
about Superman with those reach arounds.
I legitimately thought, I was like, look,
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
he's got his memories back. Now you can bone before he goes off to war. All right.
It's
So-
true.
So let's wrap up, right? So we talked about the pros, we've talked about the cons. I think we need to give our final verdict, each of us, on this movie and whether or not it's something you recommend checking out. Because, you know, at the end of the day, boredom browsing is about offering recommendations. It's helping people figure out, like, is this worth your time? And the Snyder Cut is long. So we need to let people know, you know, is this something worth checking out, or is this kind of like a phenomenon that's happening right now? It's not going to mean anything.
I was thinking about this a lot. I give personally the Snyder Cut somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8. And I think it is worth watching, if only because it's like, it feels really dramatic to call it like cinematic history, but it kind of is, in the way that like a blockbuster movie came out and then they essentially Uno reverse carded it and like, no, this isn't actually, never mind, we're gonna redo it one more try. Like, there have been, you know, remakes and stuff like that, but never before, I don't think we've seen before just of this dramatic of a re-release with so many changes. I mean, like, there's something like the Star Wars original trilogy that had like the updated and added CGI, but that's not like new scenes and characters. Same thing with like Lord of the Rings. You get the director's cut, but that brings it from 3 hours to 4 hours, which is way different than like the Snyder Cut going from like 2.5 to 4 and getting rid of most of what was in the original one.
Yeah.
I think it's worth watching almost because of that. And it is, the movie's fun. Like, it's pretty enjoyable if you just are cool with seeing slow motion glizzies. Like, and I am. That's what I'm here primarily for.
Yeah, and piggybacking off of that, I agree. I mean, I thought it was fun to watch and it was entertaining. If you're gonna watch it, I maybe recommend like taking a break every hour, or like
Yes.
you can't watch this
Absolutely.
thing all the way through.
Mhm.
I mean, I could watch a Lord of the Rings movie all the way through extended edition, but
Yeah.
I couldn't do it with this. Like, take a break at the chapter breaks. That's like the only good use of those things. And maybe like take a break every hour. But like, I mean, honestly, it's fun. It's entertaining. And like, if you wanted to see like just fun, stupid action scenes, like this is a great movie for that. So I mean, yeah, check it out. Not a masterpiece or anything, but like you'll enjoy it probably.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree. I think this is something worth watching. Whether or not you're going to love it, can't say for certain, but it's definitely something unique. I think it in my mind, if they had marketed it as a series rather than a movie, I don't know if it would have done better, but I would have appreciated that a bit more. I think like the first hour and a half is just so slow. Like it just takes so long to build up, but that build up does pay off at the end of the movie. Like if you don't have those scenes, if you don't have those moments, the movie itself doesn't feel as impactful and good. I just think like it's worth checking out. It's not worth sitting through for all in a row. Like you got to pace yourself on this thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I think the biggest thing that the Justice League loses out to in comparison to the Avengers is that all the characters we're supposed to care about in the Avengers, we got movies for.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have the Black Widow or the Hawkeye or technically like an updated Hulk movie, but
you learn about them in that movie.
Those weren't ones you really needed that much. Like Bruce Banner's background, I mean, you just worry about the fact that he turns into the Hulk, radiation. And Black Widow and Hawkeye, just soldiers, shoot good, boo boo bow. But like Cyborg and the Flash, there's like there's more that needs to be explained there, especially with Cyborg and his connection to the mother boxes, which should have probably, and I don't think we need more superhero movies, but to do what they wanted to do, should have been its own movie.
Agreed.
You should have had a prequel Cyborg movie that honestly might have been pretty good with the whole, wife dying, figuring this out. I'll bring my son back by any means. There's something there.
Yeah.
But instead they tried to jam that all in with slow-mo in the first 2 hours of the movie. So
yeah. I also think like here's the other big thing. Marvel is just doing this better than DC. I think that's just like a straight up fact. Maybe people can like offer some debates and stuff, but for every main DC movie, I think there's one that Marvel is doing like significantly better. And I think the problem is DC is just so scattered. Like half their movies are getting redone at this point. Half the characters are being recast. They don't really have a clear direction. But if you take this as like kind of a standalone thing, it's a lot better. It's just the Marvel is one-upping. Marvel is the older brother to DC's younger brother, where it's like they're doing everything first and they're paving the way, and DC's just kind of like hoping to pick up the pieces following in their footsteps. There's so many parallels that you can put between like this Justice League movie and the Avengers, and at the end of the day, like, they're both just kind of superhero group movies, and that's really what it is.
Yeah, the only thing I think that could really save the DCU at this point is if you got a spin-off Flash movie where they recast the Flash as Donnie Wahlberg. And I think that could be really good.
We love Donnie Wahlberg.
And he stops 9/11 because he's talked about no. It's Mark Wahlberg who's talked about stopping 9/11, not Donnie.
Mark Wahlberg. We don't like Mark Wahlberg.
So maybe Mark Wahlberg is the Flash, and then that's what he does with his time travel powers. He proves to us all that he could have stopped 9/11.
The last major point I want to bring is that there's two ways to rate this movie. It's either you rate it in comparison to the original, or you rate it as a standalone movie in the grand scheme of movie ratings. I think if you rate it compared to the original, this is like a 9. It's just, it improves
so much
upon
better.
Every aspect of the Joss Whedon cut by a large margin. And the areas that it's not as good, it's still good enough that it makes more sense cohesively. I think when you put this as a standalone movie, it's like a 6. It's like a 5.5 or a 6. Like there's a lot of moments that don't need to be there. It's very slow. It's very long. But I think people are just kind of blowing it out of proportion because they're only looking at it in comparison to the old Justice League. And that's why it's getting like these insane ratings online rather than what it actually should be, which is a mid-bar superhero movie.
Yeah, I think that's really fair.
Yeah. Yep. And this is coming from someone who has an insane amount of superhero bias because I fucking love superheroes. So.
Yeah, but you know what? If we want to look at statistics, one place that they have Marvel beat hands down is in references to hand jobs.
That's true.
And
they are now 1-0.
Can't deny that.
All right. Tickle, spank, sniff. The Flash, Aquaman, Darkseid.
You have to sniff Darkseid because the Flash is going to be really sweaty. Aquaman is going to be fishy. And Darkseid, who even knows what he smells like?
Yeah, but
Like, you get to
Jason
find
Momoa
that
is like
out.
so hot.
Yeah.
You got to give his
Yeah.
ass a spank.
That's why you spank him. Yeah. And then what was the last one?
Tickle.
Tickle. Oh, you gotta tickle the Flash because you go like, hey, and then he'd warp through time and make sure you weren't born.
Yeah.
And then we
tickle
get the
Aquaman.
ideal of not existing.
But anyways, guys, this has been Boredom Browsing, and this has been our
Transition
full
out of there.
review of the Snyder Cut. You can follow us on Instagram at Boredom Browsing Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Boredom Browse Pod. You can follow me specifically on Twitter at Slothenberg or on Twitch at Slothenberger. And if we're doing more live shows, you'll definitely be able to come check it out and comment and let us know. We're going to be doing some stuff talking with chat after this, so if that gets included in here, I'll kind of throw it in at this point. You can also follow Samson on Twitter at _big_boomba, or listen to his music, the Funderburger.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then Sean, where can people find you?
If you manage to pickpocket my house keys, you can just come on in.
Sweet. But yeah, this has been Boredom Browsing, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye.